It has been a long wait since last week's primaries for Mainers to learn the results of several elections that went to runoff.
And now we know which Democrat and which Republican will be on the ballot for governor this November. Our Christian Harsa was in Augusta this morning the moment the results came down. Christian, what's next?
Well, we're looking ahead at that general election, and after that long night, we quickly started looking towards that, and the three gubernatorial hopefuls wasted no time getting in front of voters.
1, 2,
thank you all for being here.
3 candidates remain in the race for governor, each with a plan for how to fix Augusta, plans that often associate the other two with the problems.
And they confirm what we already knew.
After results came early Friday morning, Charles was the first to break the silence.
You, me, us, we are ready for change.
A veteran and former White House staffer, Bobby Charles, kept his first place spot from election night. If he comes first again in the general election, he says things will change.
The drug traffickers out of here, the needles out of here, the energy costs down, a sense of accountability in your government, no more fraud, no more duplicity, no more deceit.
Independent Rick Bennett is building a campaign on nonpartisan alliances.
I know Maine people are tired of a political system that puts the parties first and results second.
A former Republican who has repeatedly voted across the aisle during his many years in the State House, Bennett says he offers experience and common sense.
Let's get to work. Maine's future, our future, depends on it.
I'm just going to start off by saying that we did it.
Hannah Pingree rounding out the November ticket as the Democrat to beat, thanking supporters first, then setting her goals.
This is about health care that we can afford. It's about Maine's potential, a real future for our kids.
And pushing back against President Donald Trump.
His attacks, his wars, his economic chaos that is making life harder for every single Mainer every single day.
As well as beating her competitors. All three candidates come with decades of government experience. But which flavor do Mainers want? Well, they have 137 days and counting to figure that out.
The three candidates were also quick to set themselves apart from one another. Charles and Bennett both associating Pingree with Governor Janet Mills. Pingree and Charles painting Bennett's independence as a farce, and Bennett and Pingree picking at Charles's Washington ties or his conservative beliefs. In the newsroom, Christian Harsa, News Center Maine.
The Maine Public Utilities Commission now launching an investigation into proposed fare increases for Casco Bay Lines passengers. The Ferry Services General Manager says the investigation will focus on proposed increases for single ride passenger tickets and annual passes. He says the rate changes are necessary as a ferry service faces a $3.6 million budget deficit. But some island residents tell us the new rates will put a heavier burden on low-income riders who cannot afford annual passes and may not travel enough to make them worthwhile.
They haven't done enough of a job to fully understand the impact to all residents, all users, all user groups, and come up with a solution, a better solution that meets those needs.
We think that we've come up with a system that protects island affordability while also ensuring that we can generate the revenue that we need.
The Public Utilities Commission says it is not putting the proposed fare increases on hold during the investigation, so those new rates are set to take effect later this month. However, the Commission says it could make adjustments to the rates once the investigation is complete.
A pair of fishermen from North Haven are facing charges after one of their crewmates died. It happened yesterday in Hurricane Sound near Vinyl Haven. Marine Patrol officers say Marshall Ames of North Haven had gone overboard. During the investigation, officers say the captain of Ames's ship, Jeffrey Barrett, got into a fight. Barrett is accused of refusing to submit to a chemical test and boating under the influence. Another crew member, Theodore Lane, is also facing assault charges.
A man from Wiscasset is now under arrest for a deadly crash that happened in January. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says Jean Appleby Johnson was standing outside her vehicle in Harpswell when a truck crossed the center line, hitting her in her vehicle. She died at the scene. Today, police say the driver of the truck, Alton Wyman, was under the influence at the time of the crash. Wyman is charged with manslaughter, OUI, unlawful possession of cocaine, and violation of conditions of release. He's being held now on $15,000 bail. Two people from Bangor are under arrest now after a shooting from this week. Officers had found a man with gunshot wounds on Talbot Trail Monday. The victim told police he was camping in the woods when someone approached him and shot him. He was taken to the hospital. He's expected to survive. Police say that on Wednesday, they arrested Justin Grover after searching a home on Stillwater Ave. He's facing charges related to illegally possessing a firearm. Christina Hart also facing charges now related to interfering with the search. A lot of buzz on social media about this. An unusual sight for some people in downtown Portland today. Police say they were able to safely remove a bear found roaming around the Old Port. CENTER Maine's Drew Peters went to the scene and has the story.
There's a lot of hustle and bustle down here on the Old Port this Friday afternoon. But the last thing people expected to see was 4 bear paws walking along the street.
I was sitting taking lunch and looked over. I see a bear crossing the street.
Construction worker Nick Willett wasn't the first to see the mass of black fur whiz by him, but he certainly may have gotten the best view.
Police coming up and down the street. There was people all around. It was definitely kind of weird seeing it.
The chase began when Portland police officers were notified about a juvenile bear spotted on York Street. Taking them all the way through several downtown areas and over to the Portland Harbor Hotel's parking garage, just feet away from Willett.
They ended up cornering it in the parking garage behind me, and they ended up shooting it with tranquilizers. But yeah, a lot of law enforcement, a lot of game wardens.
Sure. This is the bear after it was tranquilized.
Just across the street at Butcher Burger, Evelyn O'Rourke was taking drinks out to customers when she rushed over to see what the commotion was about.
And I asked, I was like, what's going on? And they were like, there's a baby bear in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I love bears.
A mix of excitement and concern for her new furry friend.
The animal control people were saying it was probably like a teenager bear and it was abandoned by its mom. But they have no idea how it ended up here.
And while officers and game wardens may never know exactly where the bear came from, they say they've relocated it to a safe and more suitable habitat.
I'm honestly glad I saw it because it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. A bear in Portland, Maine is crazy.
If you do spot wildlife in urban areas like this, Portland police officers say it's best to maintain a safe distance and contact local authorities. In Portland, Drew Peters, CENTER Maine.
All right, so while this certainly was a surprise for a lot of people, it is one of a few recent bear sightings we have had in southern Maine communities.
Earlier this week, there were a pair of baby cubs spotted at Old Orchard Beach, and days after, residents in Scarborough spotted what they thought was one of the cubs nearby at Willowdale Golf Course.